Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Little Fajr Halakha. So I was asked a question about Qiyam al-Layl, the difference between Qiyam al-Layl and Tahajjud, right? So we're going to discuss that. And then I'm also going to throw in a little bit about Istikhara, right? Because Istikhara and Qiyam al-Layl and Tahajjud, these are the most neglected Sunnah prayers, period. But at the same time, they two of the most powerful when it comes to du'as, when it comes to really speaking to Allah Azza wa Jal. Nah, okay. Let me write that down. Alright. So, because I mentioned du'as, so what he said was the du'a and prostration. Okay. We'll discuss that too. Alright. Let me put du'a up under it so I don't forget it. Du'a and prostration. Cause there is some issues with that. Some bid'ah issues. So anyway, so Qiyam al-Layl and Istikhara is two of the most neglected sunnahs, but they two of the most powerful when it comes to making du'as. Okay? So now let's break down the difference of Qiyam al-Layl and Tahajjud. So Qiyam al-Layl, which basically translate to standing at night. When we know in Salat are standing, this position, these is your Qiyams, your standings in Salat, right? So that's why they generally refer to it as the night prayer. Okay? That's how it should be interpreted. The night prayer. So, Qiyam al-Layl is any time after Isha. Okay? Now, let's say right now, Isha coming in. The time I have is 7:36. So roughly around maybe 8 o'clock, you could start to do Qiyam al-Layl. Okay? Roughly about good 8 o'clock, you could go ahead and start doing Qiyam al-Layl. The way you do Qiyam al-Layl, you do it in two rakats. Rest, 2 rakats, just like the 2 rakats you do for Fajr. It's basically like you making Fajr, right? And then you pause after you make Fajr, your taslim out. Then you pause for a minute. You don't have to pause. And then you start over and make Fajr again. Taslim out. Make Fajr again. Now there's other ways, but we gonna keep it simplified because we're gonna keep it simplified. Then the Rasul generally did 8, and then added 1 at the end, making it 9, which is 1 for witr. Or you can do 3 for witr. Your witr had to be odd, but we want to keep it simple for those who haven't made it or don't know how to make it. And you just do 1 rakat. So you can do 1 rakat only if you want to. Okay? You could do 1 rakat only if you want to. Okay? Now, if you want to, just do 2 rakats. Do 2 rakats, taslim out, stand up, and then do 1 rakat. So you don't have to do 8, you don't have to do 9, you don't have to do 11, you don't have to do 13. You don't have to. You can do 1 rakat for Qiyam al-Layl. Tahajjud. The difference between Tahajjud and Qiyam al-Layl, because it's also a night prayer, it also starts after Isha, but it's after you've been to sleep. So a generic definition of Tahajjud basically means to give up sleep. So instead of sleeping all night, I'm going to sleep a little bit and wake up to pray to Allah at night. But a lot of people, generally, Tahajjud is prayed during the third part of the night. Because during the third part of the night is when Allah Azza wa Jal comes and asks. Allah Azza wa Jal, what Allah and His Messenger describes to us, that Allah Azza wa Jal descends to the lowest heaven during the third part of the night and calls out. Is there anyone who's out asking for forgiveness? Who's up asking for some aid and assistance? You know, who's making dua to me? Who's calling out to me? And Allah Azza wa Jal is there to descend to answer the duas. Now keep in mind, you might be making dua for something that's not good for you. Allah is going to answer the dua. So we have to understand sometimes the answer is no. And then Allah may replace it with something better. You know what I'm saying? Or some of your sins or something like that might be removed if you don't get what you asking for. Allah is going to do something. You may feel ignored. It may get answered 5 years down the line. You might not be ready for it. But not to confuse it, just to keep it simple. So again, we going ahead like 7:36. Isha is coming in. We're going to just roughly say 8 o'clock. So some who go to bed early because they get up and work, like let's say your bedtime is generally 9 o'clock. And these are some of the things that I did. So 9 o'clock is your bedtime. Set the alarm for 10. Okay? Set the alarm for 10 o'clock, 10:30. Because you don't want to get too deep into your sleep. Because then it's going to be hard to wake up. Or if you do wake up, it might be too hard for you to go back to sleep. So 10 o'clock, setting it for 10 o'clock, it's enough time to give you a good nap. Because you might not fall asleep at 9 o'clock immediately. It might take you 20 minutes, depending on your time. So set it for about 10:30. Whatever your bedtime, your usual bedtime is, set your alarm for an hour or an hour and 30 minutes. The reason why I say an hour, because you might want to hit the snooze button a couple of times. So set it for about an hour 30 minutes after your usual bedtime. And then you can wake up and just do 2 rakats and then cap it off with witr. Okay? Do your 2 rakats like it's Fajr. And then do your 1 rakat. So what we're going to add in, your prostration. Because some people, alhamdulillah, and I know exactly why he's asking. I understand what he's getting at. Some people basically done created an innovative way of this. So like if I'm just chilling right now, and then I feel like I could just go ahead and put my forehead on the ground and start making dua then. Like, and be like, well, I the best time to make dua is when you prostrate. But that's within the prayer. Like, let's say you make Fajr. When you in Fajr, and when you prostrating in Fajr, you make the du'as then. Don't make Fajr, and then don't make any du'as in prostration, and then when Fajr is over, put your forehead on the ground and start making du'a. That's a bid'ah. Okay? Now, due to the fact, especially like if you want to, and it's funny he brought that up, because somebody was saying to me, I guess they had an argument, or not necessarily an argument, where I guess they was saying after they do a prayer, they like prostrate 3 times or something like that, and they would make du'as in the prostration, and I guess somebody tried to tell them what they was doing was a bid'ah, and I guess they felt like, no, it's not a bid'ah, or we both right, or whatever. But to be honest, they wasn't right. The person was correct in telling them what they was doing was wrong. But due to the hadiths, see, the hadiths, just like how people, when they get done, they feel like you're supposed to raise your hands like this after you pray, after you do your salat, you're supposed to raise your hands like this and make dua. See, the Rasul said the du'as is for within the prayer. After the prayer is a time for dhikr. It's not time for dua immediately after the prayer. It's a time for dhikr after the prayer. So you make the du'as within the prayer. So with the prostrations, the prostration dua, that's for within the prayer. So when you doing your qiyam al-layls, right? When you're doing your qiyam al-layls and you're doing your tahajjud, when you're in prostration, that's when you make the du'as. When you're making fajr and you're in prostration, that's when you make the du'as. The same for dhuhr, asr, maghrib, isha. You make the du'as when you're in the salat. Now, the only time when you doing a prayer and you make the dua after, because it's specifically, it's istikhara. Now, within the prayer, you can make the dua within the prayer, but when you done, there's a specific dua that you say after the prayer, because you basically using the 2 rakats as a wasila, a means to, just like the 2 rakats for Tawbah. Those 2 rakats is basically a wasila, something that you offering up to Allah so that He will aid and assist you in making Tawbah, helping you turn away from what you did. In istikhara, because like you can make the istikhara dua without doing the 2 rakats of fajr, but the etiquettes, right, is to make istikhara, to do the 2 rakats as a wasila, but the same thing that you want, that you making for istikhara, you also ask for while you're in prostration. So the prostration duas is for within the prayer. You do it while you're prostrating, then you make the duas. Now, again, one thing, what we saying about the tahajjud and getting up at night, where you wake up about an hour and a half afterwards, try to make your goal to do 1 rakat. That's it. So what I did was, this is how I got into it. When I went to sleep at night, I knew generally at sleep at night, because I was accustomed to, before I go to sleep, I always drink me a tall glass of water to help filter my system. So I know at some point in time in the night, I'm going to get up and go to the restroom. Okay? So, what my plan was, when I get up and go to the restroom, I'm going to use the restroom, right? Turn my water on low. As soon as I walk in the bathroom, like sometimes at night, sometimes it may take a little minute for your water to get warm. It might, like, as soon as you turn it on, it might not immediately be warm. You don't want to wudu in no cold water because you don't want it to wake you all the way up. So as soon as I walk in the bathroom, boom, I turn the water on to get my water a little warm, use the restroom, and then by the time I'm done using the restroom, my water is warm. Now, the beauty of it, understanding wudu, it's not mandatory that you do everything 3 times. You could do one. You can wudu every area 1 time. So 3 is best, the most complete, and in some circumstances, it's mandatory that you do 3 times. But for this, it's a sunnah prayer. So not to wake you all the way up, you want to be woke enough and attentive to do your prayer. So I will wudu, my water warm, so it's not going to wake me all the way up. And I have night lights in my bathroom, so I don't have to turn on no bright lights. So no lights is going to wake me all the way up. So the warm water, I make my wudu 1 time. I do everything 1 time. So I'm not all the way woke up. Then I come out, and then I will go do 1 rakat. And then I will make my prostrations. When I'm in prostration, I will have very long prostrations. I might be in prostration for like 10 minutes because I'm making long du'as. You understand? Even if it's not in the 3rd part of the night. But the 3rd part of the night is what's best. You understand? So I would do 1 rakat. Now keep in mind, if you do that 1 rakat for witr, when you can't pray anymore after that. So if you do 1 rakat, that's your tahajjud, that's your qiyam al-layl. So that's also some advice. If you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, when you get through using the restroom, come do 1 rakat and then go lay back down. You know what I'm saying? And then you back on another sunnah, getting back, you going to sleep in wudu. That way, if you pass away in your sleep, the benefits and the blessings of passing away in your sleep and you in wudu or ghusl, it's a beautiful thing. So you back on another sunnah. Now, what I did was I started to notice, okay, sometimes I'm getting up more than once to use the restroom. So what I would do was I would set me an alarm for like 20 minutes before Fajr comes in. So if I get up, go to the restroom, cool. I would go ahead and do 2 rakats. Go lay back down and sleep. If I wake up again, I'll do another 2 rakats. And then I'm going to go back to sleep. We'll do everything 1 more time. Now I got my alarm set to wake me up 20 minutes before Fajr. Now when that alarm goes off, I know I got to cap it off with 1 rakat. Then I would go in there and get in full wudu 3 times, do that 1 rakat, and then I would sit there and read or do some dhikr and do something for that 20 minutes, that 15 minutes that I got left until Fajr comes in. Okay? And then when Fajr comes in, I could do my 2 sunnahs and then I could do Fajr. So those just some little tips to help people. You wake up, go to the restroom, we'll do everything 1 time with some warm water. You know, don't have to turn your lights on so you don't wake all the way up, and go get that 1 rakat in. It's a beautiful thing. So again, tahajjud just means you went to sleep first, which is better. Tahajjud better than qiyam al-layl because you're neglecting your bed, as they refer to it. You're giving up sleep to praise Allah. And like they say, tahajjud is the arrow that doesn't miss. It always hit that bullseye when you're doing it in the third part of the night. So another thing is, for individuals who don't really wake up during the night, set your alarm for about 40 minutes before Fajr come in case you have to use the restroom or something like that. You want to at least give yourself a 20-minute window before Fajr starts. And then just come do one rakat. And then sit and wait for Fajr. That's another neglected thing. Do y'all know the benefits in being prepared for the salat, and then you're sitting and waiting for the salat to come in? Do you know basically the one who do that, you basically in salat when you're sitting and waiting for it? See, sometimes when the adhan is hitting, we going to start getting ready. So doing that will also have you prepared. Boom, I could come in here and do me one rakat until you get used to praying, right? Do me one rakat, long prostrations, because I'm making those du'as to Allah. And then when I'm done with that one, I'm going to sit and read a little Quran until the adhan hits for Fajr. Okay? So, keep in mind, 2 rakats. And if you got a long time, if you got enough time, some people who can't sleep at night. When I talk to Muslims and this and that, man, I can't sleep, I'm restless. Go pray. Go pray tahajjud. You know what I'm saying? That might be a sign that Allah wants you to get a rakat or 2 in. You see what I'm saying? Take advantage of that. Because it'd be a lot of people, they be up, they mind rambling, they done got into an argument, so they up thinking about the argument. Go get in wudu and make salat. Now, what I do, my first 2, because I realize I'm making tahajjud because of what I want from Allah. So I felt selfish. So my first 2 rakats is strictly for Allah. I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for anything. Then when I come into my second set of rakats, I'm making dua for other people. And I always start off with the scholars that I know and their families. Then I break down to the strong students of knowledge that I know, that I listen to, even if it's on YouTube. Like people I may not know that I listen to on YouTube, real strong students, and then I make dua for them and their families, you know, by name. And then like some who I may not know and I know they strong, so then I make dua for all the da'is that's up on Khair, that's calling to Khair, for them and their family. I word it that way. All the da'is, all the callers to Islam that's up on Khair, that's actually calling to what's correct, I make dua for them also. One moment. Then I break down to, after that, then I break down to like some of the Muslims that I know that's personally, that's having problems that I'm aware of, or if they're sick, you know, and I make dua for them and their family, you know. Of course, my family also, you know what I'm saying? But all like my non-Muslim family, you can make duas for your non-Muslim family, but you know, even for them, you know, you always want to make dua that they come to the deen, you know. So that's generally what I do in the next 2 rakats. You know what I'm saying? When I got plenty of time. Then after that, I start to make duas for myself, for what I want. So that's just a little general something on methods that you could do to start to get into Qiyam al-Layl. So if you don't have an adhan clock on your phone, you can go to your settings and set an alarm. Like a lot of people watch my videos, you'll hear it go off for Qiyam al-Layl. If you don't have an adhan clock on your phone or whatever, your laptop, your tablet, whatever you use, this is how you calculate it. So there's a couple of methods. So right here I broke down. What you do is you go get the time of Maghrib. So like right now, Maghrib coming in about 6:06. Fajr coming in about 5:01. Now I don't use ISNA. Some people may use ISNA, so the time's a little different. I use the calculation from Qura, the University of Mecca, right? So I'm on time with the Mecca calculation, because when you read hadiths, their calculation for Fajr and Isha is more in accordance with what the hadiths say. So like my Fajr generally be probably about 20, 30 minutes before everybody else Fajr. So that's what I go with. So the time difference between them, so what you do is you count how many hours that is. Basically it's roughly 11 hours and 36 minutes. Then you divide that by 3. Once you divide that by 3, so just a rough estimate, you touching about 3 hours and 45 minutes. Then you add those together, and then you'll get 7 hours and 30 minutes, right? So then you go from 6 o'clock, so we'll say 6 o'clock, 7 hours and 30 minutes, right? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30 minutes. So that's going to put it roughly around 1:30. And then you got about 1:36. So about 1:36 is roughly when the third part of the night is going to come in. That's Tahajjud time. So on my clock right now, it got it calculated at 1:49. So from 1:49 to 5:41. So with the method I just used, which is a rough estimate when you start to divide, because it could be a little bit more than 3 hours and 45 minutes. It might be 3:55. This is just a rough estimate, but I still came up with 1:30. So the other way that you could do it is look at your clock. So I got 6:06 to 5:41. That's basically close to 12 hours when you're looking at a clock. Okay, 6 o'clock for Fajr, 5:41, that's basically almost 12 hours. So then you divide that in threes, right? So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's bringing you close to 2 o'clock. So then I let you know around 2 o'clock is when it's coming in, because then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing you back to 6. So when you divide it that way, you know around 2 o'clock. Your first, that's when your other third gonna come in around 2 o'clock. For the ones who want to look at a clock, which is really the easiest, look at your time. The time from this, that's about 12 hours. So when you break it down in threes, you get 4 hours. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's still dividing it into threes. And then when you get to the so your first 4 is right here. Your second 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's letting you know the third part is finna start. So you break it down into threes. So then around 2 o'clock. So with my Zion clock, it's calculating it, like I said, 1:49. So that's a way that you can calculate it yourself, and you'll be pretty close. 1:36, doing it by the division and all that, I'm getting around, because like I said, it ain't broke down to the very minute. So I come up with 1:30, around 1:36, 1:40 that way. Doing it this way, I'm coming up with 2 o'clock, but I'm not adding the 5:41 and the 6. I'm just going 6:06 and then the 5:41, I'm just doing 6 and 5 basically. Or 6 and 6, 12 hours. I'm still coming up with 2 o'clock. So either way, I'm only off, or possibly they're off, a few minutes. But you got to know how to, for the person who know how to look at the sky, it's an alhamdulillah. I know how to look at the sky. So that's how you calculate it. It's not the same. Just like how Fajr not the same all the time, Qiyam al-Layl and Tahajjud is not the same all the time. So again, you get the time of Maghrib and count from Maghrib to Fajr the next day. However many hours that is, you divide it by 3, or you go and look at an alarm clock. You go look at this, and then you take that time and break it down in 3s. Like I said, 6 o'clock to 5:41 is roughly 12 hours. So 12, how many times? When you do that in 3, you get 4 hours. 4 going to 12 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then you know you got 4 after that. So your second 4, it brings you to roughly 2 o'clock. That's the easiest way. You look at a clock just like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, to touch Istikhara real quick. When the Rasul, is a hadith where the Rasul used to teach them Istikhara just as much as he taught them Quran ayats. Okay? So this is very important on Istikhara. You supposed to make Istikhara on almost all your major decisions. So like, I know some people who want to start a masjid, and may Allah allow them to do that, and may Allah Azza wa Jal bless them with tawfiq, success in that endeavor, and make it easy for them. But I would highly advise them to make Istikhara about it heavily, more than one time. I would advise them to make Istikhara about it, because one thing about Istikhara, when you make the dua at the end, you basically saying to Allah, if this is a decision that's going to lead me to the hellfire or to some hardship, or that's going to really break my heart, then keep me away from it. And make it clear for me that this is not something that you want for me. See, so I would highly advise them to make Istikhara for it. And then at the same time, if you really, really want it, and you want Allah Azza wa Jal to make it a success, then you need to get up and make tahajjud about it. Because like I started off where I said, what made me start to, and see, I don't even know if that's on the part we recorded. It probably was just me and the brothers. But, so I'm going to repeat it because I can't remember if I said it while we was recording. But it's the car, it was a young girl doing an interview and about how she became Muslim. And she basically said somebody told her that if she wanted something, if you really wanted it, you would be praying tahajjud for it. You know what I'm saying? That lets a person, that lets Allah know how bad you want something if you praying tahajjud for it. So if they really, really want that and they want Allah to make us a success, make tahajjud for it. Because see, one thing about me is I make tahajjud about these things. I make istikhara about these things. And from certain positions, Allah be making it clear to me why things with me, why it's not going to work and why it's not a good idea, and to stay away from it. But that don't mean that it might not be a good idea for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? But they need to make istikhara and they need to make tahajjud if they really want it. But istikhara to know if they should be able, if they should go through with it. And then stay on the good side of Allah Azza wa Jal so that you will be able to accept and receive what Allah is trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? And then once it's clear to you that if it's a good idea or if it's a bad idea, Then ask Allah. If Allah making it clear to you it's not gonna work, it's a bad idea. Make Istikhara again and ask Allah to show you why. Or during Tahajjud when you're in prostration in Tahajjud or Fajr prayer. You know what I'm saying? Ask Allah like why? Why would it be a bad decision? Like why would it wouldn't work? You know what I'm saying? And you could get rewarded for your sincere intentions. You know what I'm saying? If you doing it fisi-billah and it's not like this, that, and the third. So Istikhara. That's one of the most important ways for major decisions to make dua. 2 rakats. Ask for it in the while you're in prostration doing those 2 rakats, and then when you get done, the Istikhara dua. Powerful. And then go to make Tahajjud that same night. You can make Istikhara before you go to sleep. And then wake up for Tahajjud and pray for that thing. And then after Tahajjud, go back to sleep. When you wake back up for Fajr, or if you make Tahajjud like what I do, but I set mine up so that I'm in Tahajjud or Qiyam al-Layl, like me. If I don't go to sleep before I wake up and we do our late night sessions, we have it where we have enough time where we get off the late night sessions and we can go to sleep for an hour. Because we want to make sure that we go to sleep and wake back up. Because it's stronger when you go to sleep. Okay? It's stronger when you go to sleep and wake back up. It means more. You're giving up sleep. Like some people who know the difficulties of just waking up for Fajr. Like, man, I'm tired. Imagine waking up for a prayer that you don't have to pray. And then you're not selfish in it because you want things from Allah. I'm just going to wake up and I'm giving the first 2 rakats to Allah Azza wa Jal. Then the next 2 after that is just du'as for other people. And you waking up when you could be sleeping good just to do that. You know? So now like everybody who don't have a big Quran where they can't, I can read. I got a real big Quran. It's like this big. Okay? That I can read from. But recite whatever you know. Even if you just can just recite the Al-Fatiha in every single rakat. You know what I'm saying? Just recite whatever you know. Even if you still praying in English. Just recite it in English. But the important part is your long prostrations. When your forehead hit that ground, go to Allah about everything. Everything. Even if it's Qiyam al-Layl. Right? Qiyam al-Layl starts from Isha all the way up to Fajr, to the Adhan for Fajr. It come in at 8 o'clock. You go to bed at 9 o'clock. You make Isha at 8 o'clock. 8:15. Do 1 rakat for witr. You know, it's simple. It's the way to start off. Do 2 rakats and then do 1 rakat for witr. And then go to bed. Long prostrations. That's Qiyam al-Layl. Tahajjud, lay down for an hour. Or practice waking up an hour before Fajr. And then do your 2 rakats or your 1 rakat. Or like how I said I used to do. The way I started off. Every night I knew I got up and went to the restroom. So I figured out, make sure my water warm so it don't wake me all the way up. I got night lights, so I ain't got to turn no bright lights on. And I can recite enough where I don't have to turn lights on in my prayer area. I got night lights in there. Like even right now in here, I could turn these lights off at night. I got enough night lights in here where I can see, I can go through my whole house and never have to turn the light on. Okay? I can walk through my whole entire house because of the way I got night lights positioned and don't have to turn no light on. And that's enough for me to pray. And then I got like a little small lamp with a dim light when I make Tahajjud. And it's sitting on the floor, so the light come up just enough to where I can read from my Quran. You know what I'm saying? It ain't real bright like this and wake me all the way up. So alhamdulillah, man. So that's just a little advice. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it off with some ayahs from the Quran about Qiyam al-Layl, the night prayer. I'm gonna use my phone, man, so we can get through it. So you know what I'm saying? Alright. Surah 73, right? Ayah number 1. O you wrapped in garments. Rasulullah, of course. In garments, clothes, however you want to translate it. Stand all night in prayer except a little. This isn't Isha. This is Tahajjud. This is Qiyam al-Layl. Because this is going to sleep and waking up. So this is a commandment from Allah Azza wa Jal. So at one point it was fard. Some say it was fard for Rasulullah. We'll get into some details about, like, let's say for instance you miss it. After sunrise to Dhuhr, in between that time, you can make up the night prayer. Okay? There's hadiths on it. So then, like your sunnah prayers, sometimes when they made their night prayer, they didn't make their sunnah prayers like, you know, the 2 rak'ahs, except for the 2 rak'ahs before Fajr. They wouldn't really get that up. But like your sunnah prayers before Dhuhr, you know, around Dhuhr, if they didn't make their night prayer, they made their sunnah prayers. Right? So stand up to pray all night except a little. Right? Pray half of the night or a little less. Right? Or a little more. It's up to you what you want to do. And recite the Quran properly in a slow, measured tone. Basically referring to, you know, try to use some good tajweed. Right? Don't basically, not like how sometimes in the masjid when they doing Taraweeh, and this is why they say, because Taraweeh is basically the night prayer during Ramadan. Instead of 2 rak'ahs, you do it in 4. So when Allah Azza wa Jal is saying in Qiyam al-Layl, your night prayers, do it in a slow form. That's why a lot of the scholars, they are against, they do it here, but they Hanafi. So basically, and you can watch videos, they might do it at your masjid during Taraweeh, and they be reciting like this. They do the whole Quran like that. That actually goes against how Allah Azza wa Jal said to do it. Alright? But, you know, it's a sunnah prayer, as is this, but, you know, that's why some scholars say it's not permissible to be leading Taraweeh like that. And sometimes they be even quicker than that. We don't even know what they saying. I don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's why some scholars say it's not. Actually, a lot of the scholars that sound, I'll say, they say you're not supposed to do that because Allah says how to do it. So anyway, verily, we shall send up on you a weighty revelation, a heavy word about obligations and laws. So when you also praying at night and you going to ask Allah for certain things and talking to Allah, that revelation can come down to you. Not no revelation like the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not going to get that. But Allah's going to answer you. You know what I'm saying? Allah's going to let you know what's happening. So, inshallah ta'ala, you just got to be in those good graces with Allah Azza wa Jal. So then it comes in and says, indeed, worshiping in the night, raising up at night for tahajjud prayer, which means after you have sleep, giving up sleep to get up and worship during the night, is more impactful, right? It's more impactful, it's very hard, and more potent and good for governing oneself. And it's the most suitable for understanding the word of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Quran is telling us how powerful. It's the most potent to give up sleep and worship Allah during the night. Tahajjud prayer. That's ayat number 6. Surah 73, ayat number 6. Then it comes into 7. And it says, because verily, during the day, you basically busy. You dealing with the world during the day. Plus Allah Azza wa Jal comes down in the third part at night. You know what I'm saying? Coming into 8. Then it says, always remember the name of your Lord and devote yourself to Him wholeheartedly. Do this in complete devotion. So, even remembering the name of your Lord, this ties into also knowing 99 names of Allah. If you don't know all of them, learn some of them, especially what you making dua for. You could make dua, call it, especially during Tahajjud, those specific names. Like if you asking for something more, call out to Allah Ar-Razak. Call out to that name and that attribute. You know what I'm saying? If you sick and you looking for shifa, some healing, some speedy recovery, then you call out by Allah with those names and attributes, asking for shifa. So Allah is saying this. You know what I'm saying? Always remember the names of your Lord, right? For He is the Lord of the East and the West, and there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah. So take Him alone as a trustee of all of your affairs. So take Him as your wakil. Do these things at night. It's letting you know, and this is concerning how you carry it during the night prayer. Now I'm going to extend it just a little bit. So this says, and be patient with what they say about you, and keep away from them in a good way. Right? And leave the deniers, the people of luxury. Right? Leave me alone to deal with the deniers, the beliers, those who are in possessions of good things of this life, those who chasing a luxurious life, money, status, and give them respite for a little while. Just stay away from them. Even if they Muslim, man. Because sometimes Muslims who's not on it, they be talking about the Muslims that's on it. They don't want to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? They shoot little snide comments because they in the wrong. So Allah Azza wa Jal, you getting all hot from this. This is how you just stay away from them and let Allah handle them. You know what I'm saying? They out here chasing that luxury. They might have that. But it's going to be on and popping. So you do what you got to do. So alhamdulillah. So this, I'm giving y'all some Quran. I discussed a little bit of Sunnah about it. But this Quran ayat about Qiyam al-Layl, Tahajjud. You decide. Do it, pray all night. Pray a little bit of it. Half of it. More than half. Do what you can do. If you can only do one rakat, alhamdulillah, do one rakat for winter. That is the most potent. That's the most impactful. So, two most neglected prayers that's extremely powerful, and the most potent. You could do Istikhara during the third part of the night. You know what I'm saying? You can wake up and do Istikhara. Do your 2 rakats. Your first 2 rakats, right? And then after you do those first 2 rakats, do the Istikhara dua. And then go into your next 2 rakats or go into your 1 rakat for witr and be done. I done did 2 rakats. When I got done, did the Istikhara dua, right? And then I did 1 rakat for witr, and then I went to bed. I went back to bed. It ain't got to be crazy long prostrations. Your prostrations ain't got to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It could be, you can make it simple. Oh Allah, please help me with everything I need help with. Please Allah, keep me away from the things that I need to stay away from. Please Allah, allow me to learn this deen so that I can become a servant that's pleasing to you and learn how to not only enjoy the good and forbid the evil, but stay within the good and to stay away from the evil. And then you can be done. You ain't got to be in it all night. Just start wherever you can. So, the 2 most neglected prayers. Istikhara and Qiyam al-Layl / Tahajjud. So, that's Surah 73. Anybody who want to go start reading it and this and that and looking at it when it was revealed, anytime you want to study it, take a look at it. It's real beautiful. Read some tafsirs on it. And then touch some of the hadiths that's attached to it and the athars. And start to see how the Rasul acted up on this. Because keep in mind, like I said in other videos, anything that's a commandment from Allah Azza wa Jal, anything he told the Rasul to do, there's hadiths on how he did it. That's why I feel bad for the people who neglect hadiths and say they superstitions, say they made up, say they fabricated. That's why I feel bad for them. Not to say that it ain't something that's there, but when I hear people say those type of comments, I know they ain't never read hadiths. Because for one, when you go to the book of hadiths, it'll let you know if it's da'if or if it's fake. Right? It may be in the book of hadith and make it clear that it's fake so that you know to stay away from it if you hear from somebody else. Because like I said, they'll be acting up on certain things and don't even know why they neglecting hadiths, but they might be acting up on a hadith that is fake. But if they read the books of hadith, then they will be able to say, whoa, this is a fake hadith. It lets you know the grade that's in there. It'll let you know it's fabricated. It'll let you know why it's fabricated. And it's there to let you know to stay away from it. Now, some that's in there that may be da'if because of one person that's in the chain of narration, but there's authentic hadiths that back it up, that strengthen it. So it's only classified da'if, not the wording. The hadith isn't da'if. The hadith isn't weak. The chain of narration is. So it's usually like, okay, this person never met this person. He heard this from somebody else. But we know this hadith is authentic because it's here, and here. So when you hear people who say that, and they be so firm up on it and act up on it, then you already know they never read any hadiths. They never read them. You can go look at the book. Like I said, when they in there and they're da'if and they had that, but then what also happened is some hadiths that's authentic, you have certain people from different madhabs who didn't want to accept them, and then they came in and started to make it weak. That's why you'll see such and such said this hadith is weak. This person and that person said this hadith is weak. Then other scholars came in and said they don't know what they're talking about. That hadith is authentic. Because it went against their madhab. You understand? We doing this in this madhab. wait a minute, the sunnah is this, and then they look at it and say, oh no, that stuff is weak. Kind of like certain people who follow particular imams, and then when you bust out hadiths and say, hey, that what y'all doing is wrong, that what y'all doing is made up. Oh man, that stuff in them books is superstition. Okay, well that what y'all doing, where did it came from? My imam. So you can't link it to the prophet? You can't link it to Allah and his prophet? No, but this what is linked to him. You gonna call it superstition? Why? Because it proved y'all wrong. So a lot of times, certain people who had issues with the hadiths, because it went against what they was doing, they weakened it. They said that's weak. They said that's not reliable. And it started off with the people who they refer to as the Orientalists. People who was trying to rationalize and come up with different theories to change the deen. So what's the first thing that you got to do in order to tear the deen down and make what you doing suitable? What's the first thing that you got to do? You got to destroy the sunnah. You see what I'm saying? Because without that, the Quran is left up to your own interpretation. With no tafsirs and no hadiths, like I said, everything that the Allah Azza wa Jal commanded the Rasul to do and told the Rasul to tell us to do, that he said to instruct us, like in the Quran, the people gonna come ask you this. Say to them this. When he said it to them, those people who he went and told it to, you're gonna see the hadith saying, when this ayat came down and the Rasul came and told us this, this, and this is what we did. This is how the Rasul showed us how to do it. So that's why I feel sorry for the people who they just don't know no better. And then it just make me sit back and say, what's going on with them that Allah Azza wa Jal is restricting that from them? Because Allah knows their heart and Allah knows what's best. Whatever going on with them, Allah not letting them have it. So then I be thankful and be like, alhamdulillah, thank you Allah for opening up those doors for me and allowing me to keep doing what I'm doing for you to open that way up for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, it's getting to the point, and I'm gonna close it. Because I gotta get busy too. It's getting to the point where, and I could word it a little better. It was a point in time when I sat and I talked to Muslims, and when we talked, everything we said, we had a hadith to go pull it up. Now, when I sit or I be around Muslims, they just be talking. The Muslim always supposed to do this. The Muslim's supposed to be this. Allah said this and Allah said that. And I just be sitting there like, Allah ain't say that. This messenger ain't say that. And then I'm aware of the ones like what it say in the Quran. Who is worse than the one that invents a lie about Allah? Not even mindful of the fact when they sitting up saying, Allah said, man, the Quran say, because the Quran is the word of Allah. The Quran said this, and the Quran don't even say that. And then they sitting around other new Muslims and people who don't know no better because they want these people to think that they knowledgeable, because sometimes they have little backhanded schemes. They want to pull them into a world of crime and make money off of them. They want to take them around and parade them around so that they could get donations from them. They want to parade you around and this and that. Like sometimes you pay attention to certain people, they go find other little people to fight their battles for them. So now these people coming around don't even know this person. Oh man, well I kind of feel like this, and this. Yeah, but see, you feel that way because this dummy told it to you. You don't even know that person. You see what I'm saying? But then it might be 5, 6 people that they done pulled into that. But people will look at them, oh yeah, man, I've been Muslim 37 years. But I ain't even read the whole entire Quran in 37 years. You have to be mindful. And that's what I'm saying. Like right now, I'm telling you, man, I listen to Muslims. I listen to Muslims, man. Sometimes I done talk to Muslims. We might be somewhere having a picnic or something, or having a cookout. And let's say we there for 3 hours. And I sit up and listen to a Muslim walk around and be talking, man, Allah, and for 3 hours ain't saying not one thing that was right. Not one thing. And they don't even care. They don't even care. All they care about is sounding like, and then the only thing, what's the thing out of their mouth? Well, man, the best place to be around the believers, we the mu'mins. Allah said this and that. Man, we on our deen, man. This, that, and the third. And then anybody who do know what they talking about, you know what they say? Or they look like they should be speaking. Or you on some Arab stuff. You a Blackistani. Making a mockery of the deen. Oh man, such and such in jail. I learned this in jail. And I just be sitting there like, man, this is disgusting. Because I remember a time when it wasn't like that. And this is one thing why I give the Salafis credit. Because back in the day, boy, the Salafis had people scared to talk. You ain't got no dalil. Who preceded you in these statements? The Salafis will drive. What scholars preceded you in what you just said? Which companions felt this way? Huh? You miskin. Shut up. Leave that conversation for the people of knowledge. You can't even practice Islam properly. What you sitting up here answering questions for? Direct them to somebody that can answer them. You're not qualified. And if you was that type of but this is where it would go to extreme. Don't come ask him no questions. They should have left it at that, but instead, stay away from him. Anybody he talked to, if you see him shake hands with another person, that person, the innovator, but this person might not be on no bid'ah. They just don't know what the heck they talking about. So they went too far. And then the scholars had to sit them down. So now they ain't not on people rump like they used to be. Unless you just in their immediate inner circle. Cats used to be scared to talk, boy. You know what I'm saying? Just like some people, man, when I step in the room, wallahi, be like, man, you know, it's just when you around, man, I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. That's because you know you don't. You know you don't. You just love to be around people that don't know you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you hate when I come around. Because you got to shut up. And some people don't like that feeling, man, because their intention's not pure. I can't con them when you here. I can't get over. I can't pull my stunts. I can't turn him into my doja. You know what I'm saying? Like they say on the East Coast. That's a soldier that you send on dummy missions by itself. A dolo dummy soldier. So they call him a doja. I can't make him be a doja when you around. You know what I'm saying? So people need to learn, man. And I'm telling you, man, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. I'm gonna tell you, I love Muslims, but I don't like them. They need to shut up. Straight up. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.